Coming to you from the home of Franklin's finest, this is the APB Podcast. Here now is Franklin Police Public Information Manager, Max Winitz.
Welcome in, everybody. Episode 10 of the APB Podcast. It is great to have you with us. A small milestone, this being the 10th episode, a celebratory episode for that small feat, but also because we are celebrating the career of Public Affairs Officer Ryan Schuman. We are sitting down with the longtime Franklin Police Department officer today to talk about his life, his career, his role as the public affairs officer. He is so well known in this community. Chances are, if you're watching this, you know exactly who he is. We are going to miss him, and we're going to have a great in-depth conversation today with him about his final weeks with the Franklin Police Department. And that segues nicely into today's news headlines. The Franklin Police Department is proud to announce the selection of its new public affairs officer, and that is Officer Marty Carson. He is a 22-year veteran of the department, a lifelong Williamson County resident, easily one of the most recognizable faces in this community. We are so proud to have him on board. As Public Affairs Officer, Carson will serve as a critical link between the department and the citizens it serves. His responsibilities will include meeting with neighborhood and homeowners associations, delivering presentations to civic, business, religious groups, assisting with the creation of public service announcements, and representing the department at community events. Carson will officially assume the role on Monday, August 4th, succeeding Officer Schuman, who is set to retire from the department July 31st after 25 years of dedicated service. So what has that service meant to Officer Schuman? We will talk to him next. It's a great conversation. Stay with us.
Are you ready to make a difference in your community? The Franklin Police Department is seeking dedicated, passionate individuals who want to protect and serve in the South's most charming town. As a member of our internationally accredited team, you'll be part of a dynamic, supportive department that values integrity, professionalism, and community engagement. Enjoy competitive benefits, career advancement opportunities, and the chance to truly impact the safety and well-being of our neighbors. For more information, visit franklintn.gov/joinfpd. That's franklintn.gov/joinfpd.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Max Winitz here with Officer Ryan Schuman in his office, which is starting to look more and more bare every day as you get ready for retirement. Really appreciate you sitting down with me here today.
Thank you.
By the way, this office is known as the Arctic Circle. It's one of the coldest, if not the coldest, in the entire building. Even in the month of August, you need a parka in here. So I don't know how you do it. I don't know how Donna does it, who sits right outside. Why?
We've got some issue with the HVAC routing, and it puts the most air in this particular section of the building, so it's freezing in here.
Well, kudos to you for dealing with it all these years. As I mentioned, you are getting set to retire. You've been with the police department 25 years, hard to believe. You have become, over the years, one of the most recognizable faces as far as the police department is concerned because of your position as public affairs officer. But let's start from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about your upbringing and how you transitioned from a career in sales to law enforcement.
Yeah, it's funny you asked that. I don't have some story about that it was my lifelong dream to be a police officer at all. I never really entertained the idea, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I grew up in a small town, Tullahoma, Tennessee. And as soon as I turned 18, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I just enlisted in the Air Force. I was in the Air Force for 4 years, and I went to Germany for a couple years, and then Fort Walton Beach, Florida for a couple years. Then I got out, and I got a marketing degree from MTSU, and I was a medical sales rep. But that job, to me, just was so unfulfilling. The money was great, but it just didn't. I don't know. There was something about it that was missing, and I think that it was because after being in the military, I missed the team-oriented environment, and so I knew that that was something that I craved. So, ironically, I was in a hotel in Memphis when I was in medical sales, and I was watching Cops on television. And I'll never forget this episode. This particular police officer chased this guy down, and he caught him at a fence. I don't remember where it was, but he caught him at a fence, and I just remember he's walking him back to the car in handcuffs. And he says to the guy, "You just got caught by an officer with one leg." And apparently he had lost his leg, maybe in the military. And so he had this prosthetic leg. And I don't know, he was so proud of like catching the bad guy. And I was motivated by that. And then the idea of working for an organization that you're kind of like a team, like it was in the military. And so I started interviewing, and the next thing you know, I got a call from Franklin 25 years ago, and I took the job, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
We need to find that Cops episode and rewatch it 25 years later.
I mean, maybe the cop is a retiree. Maybe I can contact him and say, "Hey,
you were my inspiration.
You were my inspiration." Exactly.
So growing up in Tullahoma, obviously that city has a connection to the Air Force. Did that help you at all realize that you wanted to join that branch of the military?
Well, that's another funny story. My father was a retired lieutenant colonel in the Army, and I called him one day and I said, "I'm thinking about going in the military because I have no idea what I want to do." And he told me, he said, "I think you should consider the Air Force." Now, I don't know why he said that, but I took that as pretty valuable information from somebody who had been in the Army all that time, and maybe he thought that was a better choice for me for whatever. I probably should ask him why he told me that. But, it was a good choice, and I enjoyed my time in the military.
What do you remember about your first day with the Franklin Police Department?
Oh gosh, it's so blurry because it is. You're terrified, right? I mean, you have your preconceived notions of what being a cop is. And then you go and you put on the uniform, and all of a sudden, after going through this training, you're with a training officer. So that is somewhat comforting that somebody's guiding you. But I remember the scariest day was when you're released from the training program and you're on your own and you're out in your car and you're answering calls and you have nobody to ask. So that was a very, very nerve-wracking day, but also very exhilarating also, right?
Sure.
So
25 years with the department, a number of those years have been spent as the public affairs officer. What drew you to that role?
I've always enjoyed dealing with the people. And, let's be honest, working patrol. Listen, my first 5 years, I could not believe they were paying me to do this job. I mean, seriously, I would answer calls, jump calls in other zones. It was awesome. And then, like with most things, I think you get a little burned out of like some of the monotonous calls that you go on and that kind of thing. So I got getting a little burned out. At the 10-year mark was when this job presented itself, and I interviewed for it. And I thought this would be a nice change. It would be a whole lot different, but I think a great opportunity for me to maybe focus on some of my strong points, which is just communications.
So 15 years.
15 years.
As the public affairs officer. What stands out as far as memorable moments, maybe even some challenging moments for you in this position?
Oh, well, when I first came into the position, the person who did it before me was no longer in the position. So it was just kind of like they threw me to the wolves and said, pretty much this is what you're expected to do. And there were a lot of gray areas. And so I had to figure out kind of how to make public affairs kind of my thing. And so, I loved like block parties and things like that. Anytime you get people together where the event is meant to be happy, I think as a police officer you can wear this uniform, but you can present a different side of yourself. Because let's be honest, as a police officer, sometimes, well, most times when you go to calls, you're there to sort through something bad, right? So when you can show, hey, I'm just a dude in a police uniform, and I just want to have a good time and get out there and dance with everybody, although I was not dancing. I was just moving a little bit.
Well, so it's funny you say that. Carol Robinson, a reporter with the Williamson Herald, contacted me yesterday, and she said she actually has pictures of you from years back dancing at some event. So
Oh, no.
I'm not going to be surprised if those pictures
Oh, no.
get out there sometime in the next few weeks or so.
I figured those would come forth. I was hoping that it was long enough time that they had not presented themselves.
Yeah.
But there was a time when I probably, I let loose, so to speak.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I think everybody else enjoys when, you
You don't see that every day in every police officer, let's face it.
Yeah, well, we have to have some sort of outlet, right? So I enjoy having fun with other folks.
So the big community gatherings, National Night Out, Citizens Police Academy, that's really what has driven you in this position.
Oh, yeah. Citizens Police Academy, definitely. Twice a year we were running that program, and you bring these individuals in for 8 weeks, and it's one night a week, every Thursday night, and it's 3 hours each night. And these individuals don't know what to expect. And on the first night, my big thing is I tell them, I say, we're going to have as much fun as we can without getting anybody hurt or arrested. And I say, as long as we do that, then everything else is gravy, right? So they come in, and on the first night, I get everybody relaxed. I have them introduce themselves. And throughout that 8 weeks, you can just see them come to the realization that we're just people with a unique job, wearing a uniform, and with a different kind of responsibility than, your accountants or your dentist or your plumbers kind of thing. It's just a different job.
Over the past 25 years, and this can include your time not as PAO, but is there a moment that stands out that you would consider your proudest moment as a police officer?
Last night was the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting, and they recognized me for my 25 years. And, it kind of hits home when they start to give you that attaboys, right? So, because you made it through, and but just to have people, recognize you means a lot. Mm-hmm.
So take me back to that moment last night when you got a standing ovation from the aldermen, the elected officials, and the public attending that meeting. What went through your head? I know you didn't expect that.
Oh no, they told me I was coming up to model a body cam thing because I had done it in the previous session. And so I thought, well, what am I coming forth to stand up here? And then they started it, and it was just, our city administrator, Eric Stuckey, said some very nice things. And, people in the audience that didn't really have to stand, they did. And it just meant a lot.
Well, you deserve it. So I think that was great that they did that to recognize you. And I think it just goes to show it's evidence of what you've done over the past 2.5 decades in this community. Mm. Aside from the cop with one leg, who else would you say has influenced you throughout your law enforcement career?
Whoa. That one.
Is there anybody at this department who you considered a mentor?
Well, our chief, I think a lot of her because she was the first female police officer in Nashville, and she climbed the ranks at a time when police officers, female police officers particularly, they weren't probably treated as good as they should have, and because it was just uncharted territory. So I think watching her do the things she's done has been pretty inspiring, and I didn't have to go through that, you know. I mean, but it's neat to see people overcome adversities and thrive. I mean, so. Yes, I would say that's probably a person that I've looked up to.
Are there lessons that you learned here over the past 25 years that you're going to carry with you into retirement?
I don't know that necessarily lessons, but I'll tell you there's habits that you...
Well, you're a creature of habit.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm already a creature of habit. And then you put me in a job where I am forced to stay on alert. So I just do not know how I'm ever, Max, I don't know how I'm ever going to shut that off, because I'll tell you, when I go into a room, I pick the corner, I watch the exits, I watch who comes in, and, you know, I don't sit with my back to the door, and I'm always kind of over aware of my surroundings, and I don't know that I can break that. I talked to a friend of mine, his wife, and she said for about a year after he retired that he was still on alert. And so if it took him a year, it's probably going to take me like 74 years. I mean, I will probably go to my grave looking up, wondering who's looking in. I just don't know.
So prior to being a police officer, you were like that, but this has just taken it to a whole new level.
Oh, yes. I was already a little on guard. In military,
Sure.
right? And my dad was a lieutenant colonel, so he used to wake me up by blowing reveille in the morning. And
God.
do you know what reveille?
Yeah, I went to sleepaway camp for 7 summers, and that's how they would wake you up over the loudspeakers in the morning, and it's just, I can't get it out of my head.
Yes. Well, my dad would, me and my brother, he would get between our rooms and act like he had a bugle, but he would just be doing, and he would do it in the morning. And so I woke up like that. So, you know, you wake up and like that, and then you go in the military, and then you go in police work. And I just don't know how I'm going to break the way I am.
It's going to take time.
It's going to take time.
Who knows if, you said you could go to the grave.
Yeah, I just don't think I'm gonna loosen up very quickly.
Yeah. So we announced yesterday Marty Carson is going to be your successor. He's been here 22 years. Another very recognizable face in the community. What advice do you have for Marty moving forward?
Oh, you know, like I said, I came in with not a lot of guidance, and I just kind of had to create my own path. And I know Marty he's a pretty creative guy, and I think he will, I will tell him what I do, and then I hope that he will come up with ideas to make this position even, and this department look and feel even better, because there's a lot of opportunities in this, and that's one of the things I like. There's a lot of opportunities to branch out and kind of make the department look good, and because it is a great department. But if you don't put that out there and show why, then people just are like, yeah, they're a good department. But when you put it out there, it really resonates with the folks. So I think Marty will do a good job doing that, and he knows way more people than I knew when I first came in this division. So he's already got a leg up as far as that goes.
Going back to you, what do you hope your legacy is going to be around here? How do you want to be remembered?
You know, I just want to be remembered as a person who probably when they came in the room, they made the feelings of the room better, right? Even though you wear this uniform and some people come in and they say, this is who you're looking for, officer, and we got this person over here. I want people to say, you know, when he came in, he made people smile. So that's probably, if that were my legacy, that would be a success.
I've thought over the past couple of months, and I'm gonna see if we can make this happen. But I think we should rename the community room the Schumann Theater or the Schumann Room or something like that, because of all the outstanding work you've put into that has occurred in that room since you became public affairs officer. All the CPA meetings and speaking events and all that. So I hope I have your blessing on that.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen. I think that would be a stretch trying to call it that. But what you could do is put a temporary sign above,
Yeah.
and maybe on retirement day you could
Just use a white piece of paper and Sharpie Schumann. Yeah.
and then take it right down after we get done.
So everybody wants to know, what is Ryan doing in retirement? I know you got a big trip planned. I don't know if you want to delve into those details, but in the months and years ahead, what do you see yourself doing?
Well, for 25, I always wanted to take a trip to Asia, and it's 26-hour flight. So I knew there was no way I was going to go for a week or even 2 weeks. I mean, you could do that, but it's pretty painful. I mean, the jet lag and all
Sure.
that. So I booked a trip to go to Asia for 2 months, and I'm going to do the Southeast Asian loop: Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam. I'll probably go over to the Philippines. So it was like my reward for myself for 25 years of being a cop. I said, I'm going to go, and I'm just going to try to detox from all the tension, and so to speak. So I'm going to go over there for a couple months. Then when I get back, I don't want to put anything out there that I think may happen, because I may, my superstitious side thinks that maybe I'll jeopardize it if I put it out there. But there are some things that I am considering, and some of them are very exciting. But again, I just don't want to put it out there yet.
Can you tell folks if you're planning on sticking around the area?
I do think that I will stick around the area.
Although I know you love Florida. I mean, you spent a lot of time there, and I'm biased being from there, and I'd move back in a heartbeat. I love Florida. But especially, being able to fish every day of your life. Yeah. But I know that's sort of on your radar.
Florida, I lived there when I was in the military, and I used to fish all the time.
Yeah.
I'd go out on the party boats and, drop your bait to the bottom and 3 cranks up and just hook the fish and bring them in. And I love fishing just like you. And as a matter of fact, when you got hired and you mentioned fishing, I was like, oh, I already like this dude, So Florida's always got a pull, but I don't know. I'm just trying to leave my world kind of open right now and not make any rash decisions. Although retirement feels like a rash decision,
Sure.
Even though it was 25 years in the making, it's sneaking up on me. And like I said at the BOMA meeting, it all came kind of real last night.
Yeah.
And I guess it's going to happen in 21 days.
Crazy. I know you're going to Thailand, and I know I asked you this once before. Did you ever watch the most recent season of White Lotus?
I have not seen it. I think you have to have HBO Max
you gotta,
or Plus.
before you go over there, you gotta watch it.
A bunch of people have said that, so I will make that a priority. I should have time once I retire. I don't leave for vacation for 20 days, so I should be able to knock out that episode or that series.
You still see yourself going to bed at like 8 o'clock at
Yeah,
night?
I
know you're an early bird.
I am. That's another thing in retirement. I hope to stay up past 9 p.m.
Yeah.
But that's a stretch because my biological clock tells me that it's bedtime, and I don't know how people stay up till 12 a.m. I'm like, I would be sick to my stomach if I stayed up that late.
Well, when you have kids,
Right.
Yeah,
I-
I can share stories with
Right.
you about that.
I remember one time when I sent you a message early in the morning, which early in the morning to me, I think it was like 7:30. It was not early to me. I had been up and probably mowed the yard and pressure washed the house by that time. But I remember you saying, if you do that again, I'm going to send you a message at 11:30. So
Then I introduced you to Peppa Pig because of my young girls, and for some reason it just you crack up every
Right.
single time we talk about it.
I had to Google that to
Yeah.
see what that was.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this Peppa Pig? But apparently it's a big thing with the youngsters.
Yeah, it is. God, it's taken years off of my life. I can't tell you the last time I was able to watch my shows.
Yeah.
Like they take over your TV.
Yes.
It's Peppa Pig, Bluey, Coco Melon, you name it. And I can't remember the last time I watched just like a newscast or an HBO show. Maybe White Lotus was the last one I watched.
Right.
It's so difficult.
Yeah. Now, do any of the shows that they watch, do you find that you like any
I
of them?
love Bluey.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
did I tell you about Bluey or did you know about Bluey?
I didn't know about Bluey.
Yeah, Bluey there's a lesson in each episode, and it's somehow they're able to gear it toward both kids and adults.
Oh.
And all of my friends who are parents, I think Bluey is at the top of their list as well.
Wow.
Peppa Pig just drives me insane. In fact, I'm taking them this weekend to some indoor play place where Peppa Pig is making an appearance. So
Oh, wow.
God help me.
Yes. You're so lucky.
You want to come with? No. And meet Peppa Pig?
No, I think I have a busy weekend.
Oh, okay. You got to clear out the rest of your golf.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll send you a list of all the things I have to do.
So we've learned a few new things about you. What else do you want people to know about you when you're not wearing the badge? What are some of your interests, your hobbies?
Well, we mentioned fishing. I love camping. I mean, Max, I have these crazy ideas of things I want to do when I retire. At one point, I thought of putting like one of those, 20-foot travel trailers on the back of my truck and going across the United States and visiting all the national parks. I think there's like 72 of them or something. And I thought, man, that would be awesome. But that feels a little lonely. And so I think it might be cool for the first 5. And then I'm kind of like, oh, man, because you want somebody to kind of see that stuff with you.
Well, what's stopping you?
Well, I mean,
You have friends?
but my friends, I mean, to go across the country, and I mean, it takes months. I mean, I want to like spend a day or two at each national park. So I don't know. I have big dreams and ideas. I don't know how many of them will come to fruition. You know? I mean, I think most people dream big, and but the Asia trip was one that I said I'm going to do that immediately, and then I have other things on the bucket list that are not as high on the priority list, but I would love to go back to Europe and that kind of thing. But
Have you been back to Germany since you were stationed there?
I have not. And, I was young. I mean, at 18 years old, and I tell the story of this, I traveled around just a little bit, but you're 18, and so, you go to the NCO club and have beers with your buddies. I mean, because you're in the military, you can have beer. And so I that's what I would do on the weekends instead of getting in a car and driving to Luxembourg right? I mean, because you can do this stuff, and you just don't realize a lot of times when you're young the opportunities you're given, and until later in life when I think you're more seasoned and wiser. And so I do plan to go back and see it as an adult through different eyes, not kids' eyes, so to speak.
We'll end this on a really light note, but if there was ever a biopic, or if there's ever a film made about you and your law enforcement career, who's playing Ryan Schumann?
Oh, Okay, so my dad sent me a message the other night, and he said he was watching him and my stepmom. They were watching Reacher.
Okay.
You know Reacher?
I've heard of it.
Oh, okay, it's on Netflix. But anyways, I can't even recall the guy's name, but Reacher is the guy. And he said this guy kind of reminds me of you, and I'm like, oh, that dude's pretty bad. He's a pretty bad dude. Like he's pretty jacked and studly, and he can handle himself, so to speak. And so I said, you know, if that could be my bio dude, yeah.
We got to figure out his name. Okay, is there somebody whose name you do know, who's an actor who you think would play you?
Oh, well,
I'm looking at you. I'm trying to think.
When I was younger, and people used to say Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, that's a good one.
They used to say that, and I remember I went to a couple. I had my hair kind of short and kind of styled like his, and I went to a couple places, and people would be like, "You resemble this guy," and so I would say Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
That was another dude. Now he's kind of an older dude, but so am I. But I prefer the Reacher guy. So when you watch Reacher, if you'll somehow visualize me, I would appreciate that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sitting down with me. I appreciate everything you've done to help me. You were the first person over Facebook Messenger the day I was hired to reach out to me and welcome me with open arms, and you've shown me the ropes, and I am certainly grateful for everything you've done. I'm grateful for everything you've done for the department, for the community. I think you made a good decision in this career path.
Thank you.
So best of luck to you in retirement. I hope to get you up to Nashville sometime soon to visit for dinner. For whatever reason, you think it's like trekking across the desert for 40 years to go to frickin' Nashville, which is just a whole other conversation for another day.
You tell me the day where we're going to make it happen.
Okay. But thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And thank you, as always, for joining us. This was episode 10 of the APB podcast. We will see you next time, everybody, and stay safe.